Hi, my name's Steve Martilli at freedomeducation.ca, and today I want to share with you a very simple and straightforward technique to practice the abundance vibe and creating the abundance vibe. So why would you want to create the abundance vibe? Well, as an example, one thing that was a huge eye opener for me is that didn't realize that when creating money, let's just talk specifically about money. When attracting and bringing more money in my life, what I had realized last year, about this time last year, is that it was more important the way that I felt than it was what I was thinking. So thoughts are important. You might even hear people say, you got to use affirmations, or you got to stick to your word. If you say something, you got to stick to it. And there's some truth in that. But it's not so important that you affirm to yourself, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, I'm a millionaire, or, I'm making six figures a year, I'm making six figures a month, or whatever it is. That's less important than the way you feel about those words, because the way you feel is what will manifest. So what I learned about 12 months ago was how to go from earning $12,000 a year to over 100K, and I'm at about 115K on track right now every year. And that's a short period of time to do that. But what I realized is that really emphasize the traction of money, or the repulsion of money, to be really straight with you. You're either coming from scarcity or you're coming from abundance, and they feel very, very different. So let's start with scarcity. Scarcity feels restrictive. It feels like there's maybe some weight, there's some pressure on you. Maybe you're trying to perform in a job or a sales position or whatever it is that you're doing, and you feel pressure. That's a bit more of the scarcity vibe. Okay, I got to perform or else. So there's some fear behind that, right? And that scarcity is really built around fear. Then on the other side, you've got abundance. And abundance is more an expansive feeling. So it feels more unrestricted, more free. And if you can get to that place by feeling a certain way, then you'll start doing certain things and making certain habits that end up attracting that money into your life. So it really starts with the way you feel. It starts the way you think. But a lot of people get caught up with using techniques that get them thinking a certain way, and it's really the feeling that drives all of this abundance, all of this cash, all of this money into your life. So as an example, how would you start to get into the abundant vibe if you have very little money right now, or maybe none at all, but like I was 12 months ago? Well, I was coming from a place where, I was very fearful, very worried, very concerned, not sure if I was able to pay my mortgage next month. That's a place of scarcity, right? So it didn't matter how hard I worked, what actions I took, what I did. Didn't matter how hard I tried to get some sort of work somewhere, to get some money coming in. It wasn't happening. But when I coupled those actions with coming from the abundance vibe, so searching and seeking out some sort of employment or some sort of business clients from an abundant vibe, well, wow, that totally changed my results. It completely morphed them, completely switched things around. And so what I learned is that it's more important what you feel. So as an example, you might be thinking right now, and this is for people who are really where I was, which was like getting more in debt. You have, $6,000 going out every month, and you have maybe $1,200 to $1,500 coming in every month. So you've got $4,000 negative every month. Okay, just imagine what that feels like. Okay, now, so that's happening on the outside, and what I'm doing on the inside as this is happening is I'm pretending the exact opposite. So I'm closing my eyes. I'm getting to the place where the exact opposite is true. I've got 10,000 coming in every month, and 6,000 is going out. So I have 4,000 surplus every month. And then I'm getting in that conversation and then convincing myself that that is my reality. And then feeling abundant, feeling like there's more enough money. So just imagine if you have, $20,000 on your Visa right now. Imagine you had 40,000. So you'd paid off your Visa and you had 20,000 to spare. How would you feel? Imagine that. That's the game you want to play to get into that place of abundance. You want to start to pretend in your mind that you feel that you already have that money, that cash right now. It's already here right now. And continually to live in that illusion that the money is already here right now, day after day after day. And within 60 days of me doing this, I got a huge contract and money was coming in instantly. So I knew that if I followed this and played the game and took action, that money was bound to show up. But I also knew at the same time that if I practiced scarcity thinking and scarcity feeling and took a lot of action, that wouldn't help my cause. So by thinking and feeling abundant, then I could come from the place of abundance. And so some of the qualities of someone who's living in the abundant vibe is they're more confident, they've got a better self-image, they see themselves in a better light, they make better choices, they're excited, they're actually pleasant to talk to. They're pleasant people to talk to because they're feeling abundant. They're joking around, they're having more fun. So it's a place where you, at the very beginning, when I started playing this game of playing the abundant vibe, I was sitting there thinking, well, this is not true. But then I had to convince myself, well, yeah, it is. Think about times when you were abundant. How'd that feel? Oh, that felt great. Well, what if I was feeling that way right now? That'd be fantastic. Well, maybe it is happening right now. Maybe I'm not really sure if it's happening now, but it is. And so I kind of went back and forth from, the scarcity vibe to the abundant vibe, and the scarcity vibe and the abundant vibe, back and forth until eventually the abundant vibe became my dominant feeling, my dominant vibration. And it was at that point that I actually believed something would drop into my lap, and it did. And great things have been happening ever since. So that's really where you want to come from before you take any action. Because if you feel abundant, then you'll attract abundance. My name's Steve Martile at freedomeducation.ca. If you want more cool videos like this, subscribe to my newsletter. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.